take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or rather, good day. Welcome back to FTRL. Sorry we're a little late getting online tonight. We've been having some meltdown issues with the stream, but we are now here, and we are catching up on qualifying as round 9 is underway with the real F1 season on the horizon. FTRL is going to show the guys what good racing around Albert Park is like, so do not miss a second of the action. Joining me to keep all the Sheilas and the Bruces and the Kangaroos in check is Mr. FTRL Blue Flag. Good evening, Simo.
G'day, Lee.
Yeah, I hope you've got some shrimps on that barbie, because I am parched for a cold one.
Nah, if tonight's anything like the last 2 weeks have been, then we're in for a ripper.
Indeed, FTRL has just given us some absolutely outstanding racing the last couple of weeks. Of course, Baku 2 weeks ago was fraught and frenetic as we expected. Headed to Hungary last time. I was expecting it to be a little bit more processional, and the race was anything but action all the way up and down the field. Safety cars, overtakes, you name it, we had it, and it was an outstanding race, which saw Brand start to close the gap on championship leader Danny a little bit. Still quite a sizable lead for Danny at the moment, though. He's looking very strong. There was question marks if he'd be here tonight, but he is on track. And he's just retired from the session, but currently sat P3 behind his teammate. And the man on form, Bran Glover, is currently on pole position. Now we do have a surprise racer tonight. Currently down in P12, it's Mr. Aaron Taylor. We are into the final seconds of qualifying, and a few drivers are retiring then. Bran on an outlap. Currently heading the 2 Red Bulls with Hijacked in P4, his teammate P6, all the Red Bull cars doing well. Casa G P5 in the McLaren. We're currently on board with him. He flashes down over the line to start his final flying lap.
Now, I've been away for a couple of weeks, so you're going to have to enlighten me as to how you pronounce the current pole sitter's name.
Well, he put himself up there. I believe it's Ayhanpun Voyosti. It's easy for me to say because I've had several weeks of practice. He's a friend of FTRL Cats and the Ferrari. He's currently P11. And he's been a fairly solid addition to the league. He's put in some strong results, shown good pace across all the races he's been a part of. He's not quite had the strong results he has perhaps threatened so far, but we shall see. Yeah, so putting himself on pole position here, so he's liking the Albert Park circuit. Joe Panda's popped himself up into P5.
Brand's just coming through the last couple of corners now.
33 goes P4. Here comes Brant. Does he respond? He does. At 120.1, that's a hell of a lap there from Brant.
Yeah, the time that Brand just improved on was his opening effort, so you'd have thought he'd had something more in the tank, and he's proved just that.
Indeed, cracking up there from Brand, puts himself on pole position, takes a couple of points back out of Danny.
Yeah, Dan
looks like he'll be still at P6.
Danny's sliding down the starting grid, but I don't think he's going to go any lower than P6. So Brand with the upper hand.
So, round 9, and Bran Glover takes pole position, continuing his hot streak from last week with the victory. He heads Ayhanpun Voyosti in the Toro Rosso. And we're going off P2. Casa G popped himself up into P3 late in the session there. Qualifying from the McLaren man, he heads City Posh. Qualifying his championship leading teammate. He's down in P6 and they're sandwiching ZE3 in the Alfa Romeo. FTRL Panda P7. A good couple of races from him, a win in Baku and a P3 last time out. And we'll run down the rest of the grid as they come up onto their sighting lap. Wait for the grid to form. We've got an overcast race, but no rain at the moment. But those clouds look threatening. Are we going to see a sprinkling of rain in this race? So just waiting for the guys to finish picking their strategies, and then we'll run down the grid. Now, how do you feel about Albert Park Circuit, Si? I have my I have a corner that I'm not particularly fond of. The chicane towards the end of the lap. It's cost me a couple of times in league racing.
Yeah, on this game and the previous incarnation of it, I think it was turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That the fast right-hander at the end of the first sector. That's proved to be a bit of a tricky one for me personally in recent times.
We shall keep an eye on if the Div 1 guys can get through and whether or not we can pick up some tips to help us survive. Div 2 racing tomorrow. So, Bran Glover takes pole position in the Haas and he heads Iron Pumper Yosti in the Red Bull. A great effort there from him. His first front row start in FTRL. Row 2 is PMP Casa G in the McLaren with City Posh in their Red Bull P4. ZE3 takes P5 ahead of current championship leader FTRL Danny in the Red Bull. He heads FTRL Panda in the Racing Point ahead of Nexus Aspect and good qualifying from Aspect. I don't know if he's transferred to his wheel yet, but I know he's planning to do so in the not too distant future. So one of the guys moving away from the pad onto the wheel, so we can find out if he can get up to speed on his wheel soon. He heads his fellow Nexus runner, Nexus Iceman, in the second McLaren P10, and hijacks P10 in the Toro Rosso. So just get the tyres up for those outside the top 10. Aaron is starting P11 in the Renault. He's gone for the medium tyre, so he's going to be looking to go deep. Did he just run to the back of Hijacked and damage his wing? Can you get damage on the formation lap?
I'm not sure that you can.
Been
interesting one to test.
And if he didn't damage his wing on the Hijacked, he's going to have to watch out for into turn 1 because he's alongside FTRL Cat in the Ferrari. So I'm sure will make Cat very happy and Aaron very nervous. Onto the podium is P13 in the second of the Alfa Romeo, ahead of the second of the Ferraris in Nexus Cats. All Mercedes on row 8, it's Brutus Beer and the returning Nexus Lotus. And bringing up the rear is the returning Zumpy, who was back further with us for the first time last week. So, the runners on the grid. Quick podium prediction side while we wait for the lights to go green. Brian,
Cassidy and Danny.
Joyce. It's a good start. Oh, contact there as Cassidy gets a great start. Threads the needle between Impumba Yosti and Bran. Danny's up to P3.
I meant at the end of the race, not in the turn 1.
Everybody seems to have got through. One of the Renaults has gone round. Zumpy, I believe, has lost it at the back of the pack, coming out of turn 1.
City Posh going around the outside
on the attack, the lead.
Z3.
Wide. Cassidy on the attack early on. Threaded the gap between Iron Pumper Yosti and Bran, almost ended in catastrophe. Danny there took a bit of a moment there, coming out of the right-hander. Iron Pumper Yosti back on his tail. Danny leapfrogged his teammate off the line. Great start from Danny, up from P6 to P3. He's up 3, after our Cat's up 4 into P8 as well. Good start from Cats. The man who, that's the corner there that often catches me out coming out the chicane Looks like everybody in the main pack has got through okay. And Bran continues to lead. So Bran, Kasagi, Danny, Iron Pumba, Yossi, City Posh, Zeddy 3 and Aspect, top 7 all nose to tail. It's a Has sandwich. A very big Has sandwich at the moment there.
Panda going to have a go at Cat into turn 1. No, it's going to tuck back in.
In the background there, Cat's popping up the inside of Brutus. Side by side through 1 and 2. Cat's got a good run. He's got the inside now for 3. Onto the podium, looking to buy into this as well. Brutus tries to switch back. No, Cat's has got the position. Back on with the race leaders now. Bran leads 0.3 of a second. Danny now starting to look very racy behind Kasagi. And Pumpo Yosti hanging on. There's got a little bit of a gap back to City Posh in the second of the Rebels. Still got ZD3 and Nexus Aspect on his tail. And a bit of a gap back to FTRL Cat, 1.8 seconds. He fends off the advances of Panda and Hijacked. Oh, Panda had a bit of a slide there coming out of the chicane. It's given Hijacked a run. Hijack's down the inside. Panda hands on around the outside though. Good move from Panda. He's up to P9. Oh, Hijacked in far too quickly into the back of Panda. Did he get some wing damage? Hijack's got some wing damage and all that. Meanwhile, there's been a change for P3. Iron Pumba Yosti has taken over from Danny.
So Iceman gets Hijacked into turn 1.
Come on, Brutus dropping a couple of places there. Brutus had a moment. Lost a couple of the places there. Got it pointing in the same direction. Somebody else has gone round. City Posh has gone round. Oh, he's at the wall. Oh, he's been hit by the Ferrari.
We've got a virtual safety car for that.
I'm surprised there's only a virtual safety. City Posh still... No, City Posh is out. How FTRL Cat survived that, I do not know. Because he came round the corner and in the track side on in front of him was the Red Bull. And he just ploughed into the side of it. He's lost his front wing completely. He does have all his wheels attached, which, considering the size of the hit, is quite impressive. I didn't see what happened to City Posh, but his promising start has come to an end. Looks like it was coming out of turn...
It looked like it was out of turn 5.
4 or 5, was it? Yeah. Racing recommences then with Bran in the lead. Hijacked and Aaron side by side coming into the final couple of corners. Hijack's trying to carry on with that wing damage. Lost his left side end plate. Aaron up the inside out the final corner. And the pair of them are now getting drafted by Cats. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Aaron gets the overtake on Hijack done. Cats goes through as well. Aaron a little bit wide. Picks up some dirt. That's giving Cats a run. Hijack's got a run on Cats again. Goes defensive. Hijacked around the outside. Bit of wheel banging, but he gets the position back. Great scrapping lower down the order. Just have a quick look at ZE3. He was behind City Posh before that, and the wing's intact, so it doesn't look like there was anything untoward there. So maybe City Posh just lost it under his own steam.
I think Cat has stopped after turn 2.
Cat's had a moment coming out of the pits.
Yeah, he's lost his right end plate. He's just replaced that front wing as well.
Oh dear, Cats has all gone a bit wrong. They have a great start. Cat now will be hoping for a safety car. Bringing himself back into condition. Meanwhile, trading fastest laps.
Yep, front 4 have all broken away.
The big gap now between the top 4. Kasagi just took the fastest lap in now. He's got a good run on Bran here. Bran's having to go defensive into 3. Kasagi around the outside.
He's kept it in there, he's got
Gives
the
him
inside.
Squeeze. Now is he going to squeeze Bran on exit? He does. They give each other room though. Into 5. That's not going to work
brave.
side by side. Oh, that's brave. Kasagi hanging on around the outside, still on the outside of Bran. Now Bran gives him the squeeze. And here comes Iron Pumbayosti. Danny just taking a second to breathe and let these 3 sort themselves out ahead of him.
Yep.
Fantastic action there from the top 3.
Yeah, incredible sequence of corners.
Side by side, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Top 2 in the race. It's only like 5. 24 to go. Oh, Cat's picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. His race goes from bad to worse. Really going to need a safety car now, so here we come then into the DRS zone again. Bran's got a good exit. Kasagi not quite as good. Iron Pumbayosti got a good exit. He's closing. And Kasagi with the DRS. He'll be safe. Can he get a good run? Iron Pumbayosti very close there through 1 and 2. She had a little bit of a wobble there in the dirty air. Kasagi closing on Bran. Nothing doing this time, so they'll fall into line. Danny just keeping a watching brief behind them in 4th. Quick rundown then of the running order. Bran leads, Kasagi 2nd, Iron Pumbayosti 3rd, and Danny, they're really top 4. And then we've got 2.9 seconds back to ZE3 and Nexus Aspect battling over 5th and 6th. FTRL Panda trying to close the gap in P7. He's got 1.6 seconds to make up on the guys ahead of him. He's also got 1.5 seconds to Nexus Iceman behind him. Aaron on the medium tyres, the first of the medium shod runners, P9. Got a couple of seconds to close the Iceman, but also a couple of seconds over Nexus Cats, who continues to battle with Hijacked. And onto the podium, and Nexus Lotus, so good battle down in 11th, 12th and 13th. And Zumpy, after his opening lap spin, recovering in 14th. Brutus has had some contact somewhere. Has pitted. I think I just saw Danny in the pits. We do. Danny in the pits already. The championship leader into the pits. Which time is he going to go for? Is he on a 1-stop or is he on a 2? Going onto the hards. I would suggest he's 1-stopping. Early stop though, so the tyres not really lasting for him. Danny out just in front of Zumpy, so down to 13th. But he's got some clear track, so what can he do? The race leader Bran continue on his way. Top 3 just spread out a little bit now. Quite in under each other's rear wings.
We've still got Hijacked onto the podium and Nexus Lotus all running close together.
Look what we saw. Oh, no. Flag there from Nexus Lotus's car. Of course, we saw Hijacked onto the podium come to blows last time we were here. So far, so good between these two, though. Hijacked doing very well to manage his race with that missing end plate. Onto the podium, looking very racy. Kasagi pits from P2. That's the ZE3 from P5.
Kasagi mimics Danny's strategy.
Oh, Hijack's picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane on entry. And where does Danny come out relative to Kasagi? They're side by side coming into 1. Kasagi just gets out ahead of him, but Danny's on warmer tyres.
He's going to have to go the long way round at turn 3.
Kasagi's just enough there. Needs to get those tyres up to temperature quick. Danny is buying himself right into this battle for the lead. Is going to work. Bran and Iron Pumbayosti need the lap for their lives. We've seen Danny there. He's potentially leapfrogged Iron Pumper Yosti. He's in between himself and Casa G.
I think what saved Casa G down into turn 3 was the fact that he got DRS and Danny didn't. Casa was within DRS range of the car in front when he came into the pits.
Looking indeed as they sweep through this fast left-right chicane. So Brown and Iron Pumper Yosti have carried on. They're carrying for another lap. Next is Iceman pits from P5. Put Aaron into the top 5. Next is Cat's up to P6. Interestingly, Cat went onto the soft tyre when he pitted to replace his wing again. Right, now he's got Iron Pumper Yosti closing him down. He's lost half a second on this lap to the P2. He continues to close. A little bit of dirt there. Those tyres past their best. We've seen the guys who were running second and fourth. Getting there, penalty for Danny. You ready, quarter cuts? And probably Yosti now right onto Brand's tail. Are they going to bail out this lap? Because they are right in the danger zone now with the two behind them. No, they're carrying on again. So what lap times are they doing? Brand's doing a 26.5. That's 1.2 seconds off his fastest. Drop back to Casa G. Danny, what are they doing now? They're going to be helped by the fact...
Yeah, I'm convinced he's had a great run at Bran. Half a look, just let him know he's there.
Look, oh, Hijack's retired. Sector 3, he's come out of the chicane and lost it.
Full safety car.
Full safety car, that helps Cat.
That helps the leaders as well.
It does indeed, it certainly does. This is really going to put them out. Where will Aspect come out relative to all this? Casa G just cleared onto the podium into one as the safety car came out. So he's now got a car in between himself and Danny. And Hijack's crashed coming out of the fast left-right chicane.
Well, onto the podium, still got
Brand's just picked up a penalty.
Pit, which I'm sure he'll do while the safety car's out, so that'll get Danny back on the back of Casa G.
Brown there just picked up a penalty for cutting that chicane under the safety car. He'll be kicking himself for that one. Also got a car. He stopped between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm seeing that on the map.
Oh, it's a safety car. It's a safety car.
Oh, it's a safety car.
I keep forgetting that. I was like, whose car is that? I was like looking at the colour of it. I couldn't figure out what colour it was. Brand pits. Brand's gone to the medium tyres. And Bumba Yosti also onto the mediums. And as they pit, we have a new race leader. FTRL Aaron. Aaron leads. As expected, like you said, onto the podium is pitted. Casa G and Danny come through, so they're going to drop in behind Iron Bumba Yosti. They're having been at risk. Safety car saves Bran and Iron Bumba Yosti. They will be running P2 and P3 with Aaron ahead of them, who is yet to stop.
Yep, so with that, Iron Bumba Yosti's gained a place after the pit stops have all shaken out for the top 4, or the de facto top 4.
Look for everybody to form up. It's not quite worked out as Cat would have hoped, because he's behind Aaron, which means he's behind the safety car. Now, it's interesting that Aaron decided not to stop. I think under the safety car would have been the ideal time, minimal loss. So, 2 retirements on lap 11. Current running order is this FTRL. Aaron leads behind the safety car at the moment. Bran, our pole sitter, is P2. He has stopped. Yosti runs P3, having leapfrogged Cass G in the pit stop sequence there with the safety car coming out. Cass G and Danny currently running 4th and 5th. Next is Aspect up to P6. He also opted for the medium tyre then, so that's going to be interesting to see how the tyre strategy plays out. We've got what will be the net first and second. Bran and Iron Yosti are on the mediums, while Cass G and Danny, who went for a much earlier stop, are on the hards. So will Bran and Iron Yosti have enough tyre to get them to the end? The safety car is definitely going to help. Can't imagine it'll be out too much longer. The field is formed up. Rounding out the rest of the fields, we've got Nexus Lotus currently P7 ahead of FTRL Panda. Nexus Cats up into P9 and Nexus Iceman P10. To the podium just outside the points currently on P11, but with Aaron yet to stop. Not pitted under the safety car. He will likely lose out when he does make his stop, which could benefit Connor. Brutus Bear currently runs P12 with Zombie 13th. He's been helped out by the safety cars, got him back onto the pack. ZE3 has just had a moment because he was running P4 earlier on, or P5 earlier on. Yeah, I've just seen that Danny has left the session, so and the safety car is in this lap, so he needs to get a shift on to get back in. Once again, the game doing Danny a disservice.
So Aaron now can take over the pace of the field, let the safety car pull away.
Onto the podium, see Iceman picked up a penalty under the safety car. I think Aaron wanted to go, but the safety car was still there. Back in.
Now it lets him go.
He pitted there. Why is... Oh, Casagee's in the pits. Why is Casagee in the pits? Has he picked up... He's picked up some wing damage. No, when did that happen? Casagee has left the battle for the lead. We've got yellow flag sector 1. No, okay, it's gone away. Not sure what that was. And your league owner is leading the race. So Renault leads from Bran, Iron Yosti P3. Next is Aspect now 4, Panda 5th, Cat 6th, Danny down to 7th. So he goes back into his car quickly. He's about to lose another place to Iceman.
Casagee's rejoined P14 20 seconds behind the pack.
Duran has reassumed the lead of the race.
Iron Yosti is looking to dispatch Aaron.
Indeed, I'm going to get a good run here. Use those fresher tyres, he's got a good run. The heroes will pop open. It should be a fairly routine pass to 1. Down the inside and through he goes. And tucks in behind. Get the DRS there. I haven't got the DRS yet. Goes after the safety car. Doesn't send it into 3.
So with Danny's connection issues and Casagee's additional pit stop, Nexus Aspect could be looking at a potential podium if things carrying the way they are.
Does, however, have the advances of a pink panda.
He does
Doubtful.
indeed.
So running P6, I think, is the season best for Nexus Cats. Great effort from him in the Ferrari. Getting out of trouble. And potentially, when Aaron finally pits onto the top 5, just to build a bit of a gap to Iceman, 1.4 seconds. Then he's back in the lobby. He'll be back in his car shortly. And he's dropped down to P12. What can he do in this final half of the race? Brand's lead is 1.3 seconds at the moment.
Aspect has latched onto the back of Aaron.
A bit of a moment coming up the final corner. Gathered it up though. Not going to be close enough this time. But if you can get a good run through 1 and 2.
DRS has just been enabled, but he won't get it till the next lap.
Oh, I think Kath has spun. At the chicane.
Aspect up the inside at 3.
No, I think the other flag set to 1. What's happened there? Not quite sure what happened there.
Panda's past Aaron.
Yeah, I don't think he made that too difficult.
No.
Panda sets off in pursuit. Oh, and Cat has crashed at the final corner. And we've got another virtual safety car.
Yep.
Has he perhaps crashed in the pit lane? Not quite sure. It's a very odd place to crash the final corner. I think maybe he was attacking the pit lane and possibly run into the wall. We shall see later, but a promising race for Cats. All kind of unravelled after crashing into the stationary car of City Posh. And his race has ended on lap 15. Brandon's lead is down to 7/10 of a second. Use a little bit into the virtual safety car on Biosti within half a second there. He's definitely closed that gap. And we are racing again. Did anybody get caught unaware? No. Aspect hangs on to P3. Nexus Cats now making advances on Aaron. Up the inside into 6. I think better of it, but that was close.
Aaron slammed the door shut. Didn't let the cat in.
He did shut that cat flap firmly in his face. Cat's looking very racy. Aaron's tyres 15 laps old, so they're going to be past the best. Oh, a bit of a moment there coming out of the chicane. Cats has got to run and move to the inside. Aaron around the outside though. Hangs on to it for now. Good racing from these two. Question is how much longer does Aaron stay out? He's a bit wide there through the penultimate corner.
Headicam giving us a good view of this
On
battle.
optimal grip, Cat's close to him. He's got a good run at the final corner and have the DRS.
Aaron's gone defensive.
And goes defensive. And Cat swoop around the outside. No, Aaron holds him off. And all this is letting Nexus Iceman onto this battle as well now.
Gonna go 3 wide into turn 3.
Oh, Iceman's on the outside. Cat's down the inside. Aaron holds on. Cats doesn't lose a place either. It's good driving from him. Can you get to find a way past? Nothing yet. Fraught. Cats is eager to get through. Better tyres. Danny is just pitted for mediums, so I think he's accepted this race has possibly gone away from him and he's going to go for a fastest lap. Although probably be fruitless as he can get back into the top 10. Probably Osti with the fastest lap. Nope.
Aaron's pitted.
Sends it down the inside of ZE3 into the penultimate corner and then comes back at him. He takes P8 as Aaron finally pits. He goes onto the softs. Has released the battle of the Nexuses. Battling over P5. We've got three intriguing battles at the front. We've got Bran just under a second now ahead of Iron Pumba Yosti. The Nexus Aspect just under a second ahead of FTRL Panda. And you've got Nexus Catch just under half a second ahead of Nexus Iceman. Top 6. Paired off. Can Bran win his second race in a row? Or can Iron Pumba Yosti
Got Iceman round
victory in
Cats.
FTRL?
Gets him down into T13.
Closing down to 7/10. We've got a better run at the final corner. DRS will bring him to within about half a second. DRS again in a second. Ran up on the curbs. 1, 2. He's just got enough in hand for this lap. Iron Pumba Yosti very much there now with him. Meanwhile, there has been a change for P5. Iceman is now ahead of Cats. Cats coming back at him into 3 round the outside. Iceman with the hip and shoulder. Fends him off. Makes this Iceman up into the top 5 now. Despite being on the high of the tyre. Oh. Oh, Danny's in the wall. Out the final corner. He's lost his nose. We've got a virtual safety car again. And Danny is pushing on. Had another moment coming out of the final corner. Well, this again helps those guys running on the medium tyres. Not now running at full pace. Takes less of the life out of them. 10 laps to go. And we are racing again. Brown was alert to it. Iron Pumba Yosti closed down a little bit though. He's within 7/10 again. And they're now very close to Aspect as well. Not close enough to pass this time though. This one just has enough in hand over Nexus Cats as well. Onto the podium now, up to the P7 there after the pit stop. There's a good effort from him. And Zumpy just goes round the outside of Brutus into 3. Got yellow flag sector 3. I think it's Danny again. Lost it this time coming out of that fast left-right chicane. No safety car this time though. And Danny has unfortunately called it a night, so not the night for our championship leader.
Panda on Aspect.
Side by side. Aspect fends him off for now. Panda is now right there. Aspect got a better run out the final corner that time. And meanwhile just continues to keep Iron Pumba Yosti at arm's length. Brutus into the pits. Picked up some wing damage, he has indeed. Puts Cassid G back into the points. Aaron will come through as well for the P11. Battle for the lead gets closer now. Just over half a second between the two of them. Into the middle part of the lap. And Bombayosti with the DRS open. Not close enough though through this part of the lap. If he can stay with Bran, he's looking very good. Comes into the penultimate corner now. Can he get a good run through the final corner? Bran got a better run that time. I think the dirty air there just stalling his progress. This time. Expect continuing to hold off the advances of Panda. It's not close enough this time. Cat's not close enough to Iceman either. Behind them, we're starting to get a battle between the two Alfa Romeos, forming a ZE3, closing onto the podium. Coming in 7th and 8th.
If Panda stays where he is, he may find he has a slight advantage for the last couple of laps, because I imagine that the tyre crossover will happen.
Three ahead of him, all the mediums. There's a penalty there for Ian Pumbayosti, who's got a very good run on Bran. He sends it. Bran around the outside, holds him off. Bran had a wobble coming out of that fast chicane. That gave Ian Pumbayosti a brilliant run. Showing him his nose for the first time. He did just pick up a 3-second penalty. He's close again.
He's got a good run this time.
He's got a run, Bran's gone defensive. Got to go around the long way if he's going to make it work. He's going to stick his nose in Bran, gives him a bump, a bit of a power slide from Bran. He just holds him off. Great battle between these two. Respectful with it as well, being firm but fair. And Pumbayosti now looking very good at this stage. He's got a good run through there. Bran's having to go defensive. And Pumbayosti thinks better of it. Bran's time. Bran cooked his tyres, I wonder. But suddenly, Ian Pumbayosti looks a lot faster. DRS again. Don't think he's quite close enough this time. Follows his rival through. These right-handers. Panda also right back on the tail of Aspect. For the final couple of corners. Got the DRS, but he's not close to Panda. Is very close to Aspect.
Panda got the power on really early out of that final corner.
Down the inside.
Contact.
Oh, round he goes. Meanwhile, on Pumbayosti's gone straight on at turn 3. I just flicked over to him. I think he got round the outside. I think Bran gave him the squeeze. He got onto the grass. Missed his braking point and went straight on. And behind the Panda tried to go down the inside of Aspect into one. I think there was just a bit of side-on-side contact, and round went Panda. Dropped in behind Nexus Iceman, and right to the middle with Nexus Cats, who was just falling a little bit off the back. So that has spread out your top 3 and given Bran a quite comfortable 3.7 second lead. And Conversely been getting very, very racy with him. Looking for a way through. Tried to go down the outside into 3. Like he just didn't get it quite right. The closest battle on track is now between the Team Alfa Romeo cars. To the podium, just 7/10 of a second ahead of his teammate. Here he's closing. On the same age of tyres. All things equal. Three's had a very good run there through 1 and 2. To the outside for 3. Connor gives him the elbow wide. 3 had a bit of a wobble. They're up and they are on their way. Continuing to squabble. Connor gets a bit of dirt there. He went very narrow off the exit there, and that's given ZE3 a run. It's been really an overtaking opportunity, but Connor's gone very defensive there. They are going to go side by side. ZE3 over the curbs and takes the place.
Oh,
the Connor touched and they're off! Just as Casa G does Zumpy behind them, the 2 Alfa Romeos touch. Both of them go off.
Yeah, ZE3 was completely sideways coming out of turn 13 and just got collected.
Need to get on the power just a little bit too quick. Got the back kicked out. And as Connor tried to go back up the inside, they touched and they both went up into the gravel.
So
both in the pits.
Both in the pits. Aaron's found himself in P9.
Looking for a good solid point finish. Just like that. And there's one for Alfa Romeo. So, after all the frenetic action we've happening, it's all settled down a little bit now. Brown leads by 3.4 seconds over Ryan Pumbayosti. He's got 4.4 over Aspect. This Iceman holds on to P4 for now, but Panda has regrouped and is going back at him.
Yeah, Panda's got his act back together.
Comes on its spin, he's got within half a second. These two both on the hard tyres. Panda's 1 lap newer. He picks up a penalty there for a corner cut. Lost a bit of time there, he had a poor exit. Give Iceman some breathing room. Next is Katz in P6. He's just fallen away from this battle a little bit. Casa G recovering to P7 after all the incidents ahead of him. Picking up some wing damage under the safety car. Zumpy in his first outing in the Renault. He is P8 with his teammate for tonight, Aaron, P9. Brutus Beer holds on to the final point now after the Alfa Romeos came together. They're running 11th and 12th. The top 3, barring any incidents, looks sorted. It's whether or not Iceman can hold off an angry Panda P4. Panda closing up again. In half a second, but Iceman had a better run out of the final corner. I think Brand's had a moment somewhere because that lead was 3 seconds. It's now 1.1. What has happened there? Brand has lost 2 seconds in a lap. We had a moment. We must have had a moment somewhere.
Suddenly,
I am probably rusty. Well, I fancy this again. You can have 1 lap to have a crack at him. He's within DRS range. No Iceman continuing to battle. We do now have a battle for the lead again. 0.6 of a second. Pompeyusti does have at least 1 penalty. I don't know if Brand does as well. In fact, Brand does because he picked one up under the safety car. This could be a straight fight for the victory.
it's a 1 lap shootout.
All or nothing. Here we go. Usually get the better run. Got a good exit. I'm Pompeyusti closing now with the DRS. A slightly better run through 1 and 2. Brand has enough in hand this time, I think. And further back, Panda not close enough to Iceman. Just closing. Can he force a mistake from Brand? Before the final time then, now Pompeyusti kicks up the grass a little bit there. Just compromises exits, giving Brand a little bit more breathing space. Iceman locks a wheel as he holds off Panda. Don't think Iron Pompeyusti is close enough. DRS is open, he is closing, but he's not close enough. 3 corners to go for Brand. 2 wins in a row. Into the penultimate corner. I'm almost closing, but it's too little too late. Barring any penalties, Brand takes the win in Australia. He does indeed. And Pompeyusti, a fantastic second position. And Nexus Aspect will come home third. Iceman just holds off Panda. P4 and P5. Nexus Cats, a season best E6 from him, great drive. Casa G picks up P7, but would have hoped for more after some great early pace. Zumpy will come home P8. Aaron on his one-off outing, P9, a couple of points for him. And Brutus Beer, persistence will pay off with the final points paying position. Happy with that. Been a tough season for him so far. And we wait for the recovering Alfa Romeo drivers. So the podium will come home P11. And ZE3 will be our final finisher. He comes into the penultimate corner. Again, another race robbed of some strong points after colliding with his teammates. And comes home in P12. So there we have it. It started exciting. We thought it was about to quieten down, and then we were treated to a frantic finale again. But he makes it 2 in a row, and Brand Glover is your victor in Australia with Iron Pompeyusti P2. And Nexus Aspect onto the podium for the first time this season in P3. He hits both Hazes on the podium. I don't suppose you have Iron Pompeyusti as a friend, do you? Do you want me to?
If you could suggest everyone, it would just make it quicker for.
Let's go with my PlayStation. It's so slow tonight.
Yes, Brand and Iron Pompeyusti both had 1 penalty each. Aspect picks up a podium. Nexus Iceman hanging on for P4. With Danny's DNF, that puts Bran at the top of the pile.
Everybody. Don't know if I have iron probability.
I found him.
Okay, right, we'll just wait for RP to finish to join us. Hopefully.
There we go. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Just see if Iron Probability can join us, and then we will crack over some interviews. Hopefully. Also realised by searching for him is actually Lampon Boyosti, not Iron Boyosti. So I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time, so.
You've got me doing it. Nice one.
Sorry. Right, okay, while we're waiting, we'll crack on then. So congratulations, boys, on the podium finishes. Coming to you then, Bran, first and foremost. Congratulations on the victory. Almost went wrong at the start there. There was a bit of contact off the line.
I think there's a bit of rubbing, yeah. I can't actually remember it too well, to be honest with that. I know there was a bit of contact. But yeah, I came out of it in the lead, and I think, yeah, it's nothing dirty or anything, just a bit of rubbing his face.
I think it was just Cassidy got such a good start. He tried to thread the needle and didn't quite. The gap wasn't quite there for him, but yeah, like you say, all came out quite well. So early running, they had a sort of top four breakaway between yourself, Cassidy, Lampon Boyosti, and Danny. How was it sort of keeping those three behind you, because they're all looking quite racy, especially Kasagi in the early stages.
Yeah. Yeah, they were very quick, and I had to be on my toes the whole time. I couldn't relax at all. I'd be pushing every lap. So yeah, I think there was a few battles here and there where people tried to go down my side, especially Lamb, that's what I would call him, because God knows how you say that name. And yeah, and then obviously the safety car came out, which was lucky, but which managed me to get in the net lead, obviously behind Aaron. So then from there it was just me and Lamp really to the win.
Yeah, so there was a moment after you overtook Aaron where you kind of pulled a bit of a gap, and then he caught you, and then obviously he was looking for a way past a couple of times. Now we kind of cut to watch the battle behind between Aspect and Panda, and I just flicked back on to see him going straight on at turn 3. What happened there?
Yeah, I just defended on the inside. He went to the outside and just broke a million metres too early and went off into the gravel. Basically, that's it. He just broke too late and sent himself off into the gravel. That's it.
Well, yeah, and then obviously that kind of left you with about a 3-second gap, and then next thing we know, it's down to a second again. Did you have a bit of a moment there? Off
Yeah,
camera?
nearly bottled. Locked the rears in turn 1. I was full lock on the wheel to save that, and yeah, after that, then obviously I had no rhythm or anything, and he was catching me again. But yeah, that was a scary moment. Almost lost the win.
Well, a fantastic save and a great result then. So, after with Danny having issues tonight, that's put you top of the pile in terms of the leaderboard. 3 rounds to go now. Is it yours to lose now? Looking at what races left, we've got Bahrain next, and then Brazil and Italy to finish the season.
Okay. That's a mixed bunch of tracks for me, I think. But obviously now I'm in the league championship. You're right, it is mine to lose. So. But
You've always got me wrong.
That's true. And, yeah, just a bit of blocking in there. And yeah, obviously Danny's going to be quick, as is the others. So we'll just have to see what happens on each race. But hopefully I'll be able to be back up there for the championship.
Oh, indeed. Well, great result tonight. That's 2 on the belts for you. So yeah, hope you continue this good form.
Thank you.
So with no P2 finisher here, we'll move on to P3. Nexus Aspect. Congratulations, mate. Season's best finish and a double podium haul for Team Haas.
Yeah, we used to be very positive in that respect. We've cut the gap to Red Bull by like half. I think there's only like 15 points in it now. 15, 20 points in it or something. I did some rough calculation in my head, but I'm not sure if it's perfect.
Yeah, they've brought that gap down quite considerably with neither Red Bull finishing the race. So, yeah, a good night for you boys. Now, it was a bit of a race of two halves, really. It seemed like before the safety car, you were just chilling, going about your business, just staying clean and out of trouble. And then after the safety car, you had a very feisty Panda looking for a way past.
Yeah, the start of the race, like my actual start, was I'd say it was pretty good, but people up in front kind of got tangled a bit and went. I think there was like probably a 3-wide moment at one point, so I kind of had to brake. So my good start was kind of cancelled out, and then I kind of had to stick behind, and I ended up behind Sandre, and I just kind of stuck behind him for a while, and then he started making mistakes. Obviously, because his tires were going, like he said that, and he pit. I obviously stayed out. I was planning to stay out till lap 11, but then of course the safety car came out, and that got me ahead of him and a few other people, just ahead of Panda, of course. And yeah, after the safety car restart, that was kind of it. And then Panda just kind of following behind me, and then he had a look at the exit turn 12. Obviously he had a better exit than me. I didn't have a great one. And he had a look around the outside, he had a little bit of contact, and didn't really see how it happened. Because it seemed like we both had enough space. It didn't look like he hit me or anything, but heard the contact anyway. And yeah, then he had another go into turn 1 and obviously spun around.
Yeah, that one in turn 1, I was on board with Panda at the time, and honestly, from my view, I think it was just a 50-50 racing incident. I don't see that there was any intent or malice from either party on that side of it, so I think it was just one of those things.
Yeah, it seemed like I gave him just enough space, and it seemed like he didn't have a great angle to the corner, so he tried to open it up as much as he could, obviously, and didn't seem to work out.
Yeah, but yeah, P3, and as Lee said, we've got 3 races left, so Bahrain, Brazil and Italy. Do either of those tracks sort of play to your strengths?
Love all 3. Like 3 of my best tracks. Like I adore all 3 of them.
So, have you got any sort of targets for the last three races, or is it just do your thing and see what happens?
Make sure Brian gets that title. I mean, I have been doing my best to help him, because obviously Danny is obviously very, very quick. So I've been doing my best to try and kind of keep him behind. Obviously in Hungary I did it quite well. Yeah, I'll be trying my best to get Brian closer to that title, obviously being my teammate, and I'll try and do the best for myself to try and go for the Constructors, which looks a lot more possible right now, of course, with them not finishing, so we'll see what happens, I guess.
Well, congratulations tonight, and best of luck for the remaining 3 races.
Thank you.
So that brings to an end our coverage of Div 1 race in Australia, but do not forget, of course, we've got Div 2 doing the same thing tomorrow, so we'll fire up the Barbie again, we'll kick some roos in the back and get them out of the way, and hopefully the Div 2 boys, myself and Si included, will put on a show of equal entertainment factor as we've seen tonight from Div 1. Also on FTRL this week, it's a very big and exciting week for us because we've got return of the GT Sport Leagues on Friday for what is now called GT1, which is our regular league, but also we've got the debut of GT2, our Div 2 for GT Sports. So we are very excited to see some of the FTRL regulars and also some new faces to the league getting involved and hitting track on Thursday. So do join us on both tomorrow, on Thursday and Friday, all at 8 o'clock as ever, for plenty more FTRL racing action this week. But for tonight, from myself and Si, we bid you a very good night, and see you tomorrow.